how do you keep the quality up there?
A lot of maths. A lot of math. I mean, the truth is, everyone talks about rising costs. And when you open a business, you realize that, yeah, it's true. Costs are rising.
What made you have this courage to open a business?
I think maybe the first thing was, I'm not doing it by myself. You start from a high and how was your day? And maybe the third or fourth time you meet them, you go, hey bro, I think it is one of my favorite settings to meet people.
And they say that F&B's worst struggle is labor. Is that true?
Of course. I mean, that's definitely true. There is, of course, turnover. It's a monster you can't run away from. I mean, seriously, that is everyone's big challenge.
In this video, I'm going to deep dive into stories of entrepreneurs and change makers. This isn't just about business, but about the relationships, the struggles, and the breakthroughs that define success. Navigate this journey with me and explore what it truly means to thrive, live fully, and love deeply. Let's go.
So then,
Hi.
who are you and what is your vision when you create Mismatch?
Well, okay, so my name is Zed. I'm I would like to say, typical Singaporean guy that went through the entire thing. Like, your parents tell you that you need to get a corporate job, go and get a degree, go along those lines. So yeah, did all of that. I was a civil servant for a while, quite a while actually. Then after that, I went to the private sector, and things took its own track. And today I find myself working on this project that we call Mismatch. Yeah.
And how has it been building this?
Well, I think like building any kind of brand or any kind of F&B enterprise, it's always about, you're always going to have those same nitty-gritty issues, teething problems that are very, very common. And the fact that probably I've been a customer around this area for about 20 odd years and things like that. So you kind of understand, you've already spoken to a lot of people in the industry. So nothing really took us by surprise, I would say. Yeah.
What's the major issue when you're in the F&B business?
Oh, major issue. I would say, especially when you're rebranding, finding and creating the new crowd that you're bringing, those new relationships. So yeah, we have a lot of our regular customers that come back, that feel a link to the old brand, the older brand, and to our new place as well. But it's also getting that new crowd to come on board onto what this rebrand looks like, reaching out to a brand new audience. And more importantly, I would say, is trying to be in touch with not just current trends, but things that people actually want. Because trends go in and out all the time. And keeping up to date with that. And sometimes if you're chasing a trend, it might not always work. And it might be overused and overplayed. So I think the biggest challenge is of trying to find something that is unique, something that is our niche, and that people can remember us by.
And what do you think is your niche for this one?
So right now, what I would like to say is, yeah, we're a bit of a mismatch. We're a bit of a hybrid of sorts. We've got our food, which maybe I can talk about a bit later, which is really, really good. We've got a bit of that bar club vibe as well. As the night goes on, the lights grow dimmer, the music becomes a bit louder, and then you get a different kind of crowd that comes in. But it's also a place where people can chill, make connections, have fun. I think that's kind of like our unique point right now. We are trying to be the most chill and casual version of ourselves, which is actually quite hard. It's very hard to explain. Because I think that's why also it lends to the word mismatch. But we're trying not to be anyone that we are not. So also with our pricing structure, we're trying to make it a place that's accessible, that's reasonable, that it doesn't burn a hole in your pocket, but also at the same time to maintain a standard of, say, the things that we provide as products. So the food needs to be good. The drinks need to be of a certain level. We don't stinge on the alcohol. We don't stinge on the quality of the spirits. And so I think that's probably one of our USPs. We're trying to be as accessible as we can, without
compromising on the quality.
Exactly that, without compromising on quality. Yeah.
And how do you keep the quality up there?
A lot of maths. A lot a lot of math. So, I mean, the truth is everyone talks about rising costs. And when you open a business, you realize that, yeah, it's true. Costs are rising, but then we need to do the math. We work with our partners, when I say partners, they're not just our suppliers. They are people that have actually come on board to advise us as well. For example, our cocktail menu. Our staff, we are not cocktail artists. We don't have that expertise. So we leverage on the expertise of, say, our suppliers who have great bartenders. And we've worked with them to say, all right, let's develop a set of cocktails using premium spirits. And how does that help work with a price point that is good for us and at the same time great for the customers as well? And because I think with any business, it needs to be 3 wins. Your collaborators need to win. Of course, you need to win, and your customers need to win. If there isn't these 3 wins, it's very hard for you to actually succeed.
You mentioned that you work in the public sector and the private sector. What made you have this courage to open like a business on your own?
Well, I think maybe the first thing was I'm not doing it by myself. The next is, I think we've been very lucky in terms of the partners that have come on board. It was extremely organic, but also it's why I like this bar bistro culture, because you get to meet people that you wouldn't necessarily meet in your line of work. And for all our partners, we all come from very different backgrounds. We are probably the most mismatch of everything there is about mismatch.
And that's why the name is Mismatch.
It is one of the reasons why the name is Mismatch.
Yeah.
And more we start to realize that, but also there is this synergy, there's this overlap, because we've all met here, we've all met in a similar setting. And this is, when you talk about even corporate relationships, some of our ideals, some of our values already overlap. And we realize that, hey, we can work together as friends, but we can also work together as business partners. And we try our best not to. So we have a structure, and it's been working so far. Knock on wood that it continues working. But so far, you know what? Everyone's been very, very nice. All our partners have come in, supported us, and I mean we support each other. So it's been very organic, and hopefully that continues.
Okay, so you met in Goodfellas, right?
Yeah.
Was it randomly you're just sitting, chilling, and suddenly you just have a good drink with someone?
Exactly that. So maybe some of us knows, like I knew 1 or 2 other people, but then you start to have because when you see each other enough, you start from a high to a high, from a not to a high, and how was your day? The next time you meet them, and maybe the 3rd or 4th time you meet them, you go, hey bro.
Oh, okay.
Then you go, hey bro, hey, you know what? My friends haven't turned out. You want to sit down at my table? And then you sit down. Then you start to understand each other. And then over the next couple of years, you realize that you're friends and you're hanging out. You're talking about other things. You know each other. You get invited to their weddings, and
I see.
all this happens. Yeah,
In a bar.
in a bar. I think it is one of my favorite settings to meet people and to socialize. I mean, on a personal level, I don't think you can really socialize in a library when everyone tells you to shh.
Yeah, that's right.
But at a bar, you see it's different as well. There's a lot of talk about Singapore culture sometimes, which I tend to disagree. Where people say the Singaporeans aren't friendly. I say, no, maybe you're hanging out at the wrong places to find the friendly ones. A bar, it's maybe not a club, because, that's when it's midnight and the music is very high. It's hard for you to meet the next person or to have a proper conversation. But places like bars where you can sit and chill are really a place where, at the end of the day, I mean, it's not about being an alcoholic, right? Sometimes people come down and don't even have any alcohol, but you just sit down because your friends are here. It's a day after work. You sit down in the sunshine and you just want to have a drink, or a drink with people, right? So, like for me, myself, I've never ever said that, it's been a hard day, I need a drink. But what I do feel and I do say is, it's been a hard day or a week, I need to go and chill and talk to people. And that's when I go to a bar. I sit down, and there are people there, you socialize, you forget about it. You start to joke, you make fun, you tell stories, and the day goes by, you feel like your shoulders sink, and the tension and stress leaves you. And I feel a bar is one of the best places for you to be able to do that.
And you said that you guys have different expertise.
Yeah.
And then you create this good food, good drinks, right? Who assign what to do what?
Right. So because of our expertise or that differences that we have, a good thing that also again happened naturally is some of us have F&B experience. So for example, one of our partners, Ezekiel, he also runs Chops. He's one of the people with Chops. Actually, we have two of them on board of the team, and they run and manage the kitchen. So they already have a good understanding of what it's like to run a good kitchen and to serve good food. So that Chops, as a brand, as a business, is already running around Singapore. So that's doing very well. Our menu here is different. However, it's taking that experience, those sensibilities, and bringing it down here. And so, for example, there are also things that we know as customers what we want and what we don't like. Like one of my biggest pet peeves is going into a bar and ordering a pizza for $30, $25, $30 that you know it's frozen from NTUC or cold storage. So our pizzas here every day, they're handmade, they're fresh made, and we can customize it a little bit. If you say you don't want a particular thing, sure, we can take away the sausage or do that because it's handmade. And that is what we ourselves want. So we bring what we like to do. What I feel we do is, as a customer, what we like and what we want to see, we try to bring that here as well. Yeah.
And let's say someone were to buy a pizza in your place, how much would it cost and how much would it compare to other competitors?
Oh, it's only about $20. And it's a big 11-inch pizza.
By 2, 3.
Oh, easily. 3 people, easily.
Okay, so it's very accessible.
Very, very accessible, and it's fresh. That is one of our top sellers. We do have a skewer menu, and also sharing plates. Like, your standards, bar-bys like popcorn chicken, truffle fries. Our loaded tots are also quite popular. So when it comes to food, everything is fresh made. I mean, certain things, unfortunately, have to be frozen, like say the popcorn chicken and things like that. But everything else is all fresh. It's all chilled. None of it is frozen. Yeah.
And I noted that there's like table game QR code in the tables.
Yeah.
So if friends really want to come here to hang out, they can just scan the QR and they can play together and have a good drink, right?
Exactly.
And there's also a photo booth behind, which I find is very rare.
So, yeah. See, again, it's such a mismatch that we don't really know what to call it. But really what we want is a place where you can have fun in a safe environment. I think that's very important. A safe environment, have fun with chill people, chill vibes, and get together, and maybe some people can meet their match. So even that phrase has so many meanings.
Okay.
It's got so many meanings. It could be meet your match as you want to challenge someone in terms of a competition. You want to meet your other half or better half or something like that. So even that phrase has got so many different connotations to it. And that's why we feel like the opportunities are endless, but as a business owner, we can't leave things too broad as well. So ourselves right now, we're in a place also where we are looking to see what works, fine-tuning it, and making that the better experience.
And so far, since it has launched for 8 to 9 weeks, which one do you think works best for your company?
Well, so far, definitely the music, it works. The photo booth is always a very nice touch, especially because of the area where we are situated. You have two different kinds of people, some which is the younger crowd that just love to take and keep pictures, and the fact that the photo booth gives you physical printouts, and that's something they can keep. They also get a digital copy, but it also helps for the tourists and the backpackers and the people that are staying in the hotels. They're visiting. For them, it's also a little bit of a memory of them in Singapore. Right? So it kind of hits on a few different levels. And well, I think these two work very well. The food always gets very good reviews. And again, like, I mentioned, the drinks are accessible. We don't necessarily, it's not a place where you want to push anything at all. What I really love is things are happening organically so far.
Okay, so that means no ads yet. It's all organic.
Not so much. We are doing, we are going to start promoting a few things down the line. We, of course, going to have your staples, like, we try out different kind of nights, like industry nights. We have a ladies' night on Thursday. Friday nights is when, the music would be a bit more exciting. The DJs come in. So we do have a couple of staples, but what we are now looking at also is to see, what can we do a little bit different? What can we do to just play around a little bit and see if it works? Yeah.
And were there like moments where you felt like, I think this is not working?
No, I mean, truthfully, not yet.
Ah.
Truthfully, not yet. And I think it also depends on that expectations you have as a business owner. When do you pull the plug? Right? Sometimes you need to let it run. Sometimes you need to let an idea run and not go, oh, it didn't happen this week. It didn't happen the next week. That's it. I'm done with it. No, it might be too soon. You might need to maybe just fine tune an idea sometimes, or even to, you should revisit it. But knee-jerk reactions, I'm a personal believer that, that doesn't help you because you never really get anywhere. So whether you are in an F&B business or say you are a content creator, it takes time to develop a following. And it's the same thing here. We're trying to develop a following, develop a community. It will take some time for people to know us, that we're here, to either like or not like the vibes. That's up to them. But it will take time for us to grow. And I think that investment in terms of time, in terms of belief for our vision, we must be committed to that for an extended period of time. Yeah.
And if there's a new business owner, let's say they're also venturing into F&B, what would be your advice? Like, is 1 year enough for them to see, or 2 years? Or what would be your recommended time frame?
Oh, that's a very tricky question. I mean, the truth is, it totally depends on, I would say, your own USP. Certain things work very well, very quickly. And it also depends on, say, your kind of place. Are you going for a Michelin? Say you're opening a restaurant. Are you targeted to go towards a Michelin star? Or are you going to serve casual, home-cooked food and things like that? The audience changes. Your direction changes. Your level of investment changes as well. And the amount of skill that you need changes. So for us, we're trying to keep it casual. If you come into a place and I feel that you are relaxed, you have the privilege of having a little bit more time to see things work out. But one thing I would say is focus on one thing first. And if it works out, great, but don't hyperextend. So rapid expansion sometimes will sometimes go against the business. It's like make one thing work really well first and then give it a couple of years before you think you even want to expand or not. Like right now here, we've got no plans to expand. We just want to make this one place that we can do well. Yeah.
Okay. And so far, do you think this is according to your projection? Because before you start a business, there would be some projections, right? Or
I think I think we're all right. It's an interesting time of the year. The end of the year and the first quarter of every year is typically very slow or slower. We will only know later on in 2025 whether do we really hit those targets. But that being said, because even though it's slow, for us starting up, it also provides us the opportunity to try things, to see what works. Do we need to switch out our furniture? Do we need to do this? Do we need to do that? Is infrastructure right? Like now we're in the midst of actually tweaking the menu. So, and maybe re-looking at some of the cocktails, what works, what doesn't work, and then solidifying it after that, after 3 months run. So while it's slower, it still gives us the opportunity to fine tune things and be ready when, everything picks up.
And when you fine tune, there would be cost to it, right? Additional cost. So how do you manage these types of changes?
I think so. One of the things that we did when we first sat down, our very first AGM, everybody was on the same page that because we are learning as we go, there will be times that things don't work. And in order to rectify that, there will be costs. And so we must be prepared to have some kind of contingency funds. I think that's very important to have a mindset that's there that things are going to go wrong. Nothing's going to be perfect. You talk to any experienced bar owner or restaurant, and they'll tell you, today everything is fine, and tomorrow your fridge breaks down. And then you need to repair that. And then the next day your aircon starts leaking, even though it's brand new. right? So all these things tend to happen, and you can't really plan for it. But I think as a business owner, and as a group, if you have shareholders and investors, everybody must be on that same page to know that sometimes things happen that is outside of our control, and they might be infrastructure issues that we just need to solve. Yeah.
And they say that F&B's worst struggle is labor.
Yeah.
Is that true for your?
Of course. I mean, that's definitely true. There is, of course, turnover. It's a monster you can't run away from. I mean, seriously, that is everyone's big challenge. So we try. We have mostly part-timers. We got a couple of full-timers. And because of that also, we don't meet the government quota to get, foreign. And it is what it is, right? So we need to work within our means. But yeah, so we're always on the lookout for who fits our vibe, and who can come in. But the truth is, you plan for it today, it's so hard. So it's one of those things we are always on the lookout for new staff that can come in, and more than not just coming in, but also being a part of the family. We want to kind of grow that vibe as well. Yeah.
Do you see it as a challenge for you to see, or sometimes it gets a little bit tiring?
I think it's always tiring. And this isn't just for the F&B industry. I think in all corporate sides as well, when someone in the team leaves, then you rehire somebody, you retrain them. Probably it's just a bit more common in F&B side, as in it happens a lot more often. But, the truth is, any kind of work, it's going to be tiring. But I think we must take it as a challenge. The moment we don't take it as a challenge, that's when you start to get jaded, and that's when, things don't move as they should, basically. I think it's up to us also to motivate ourselves, to find ways to de-stress, to normalize. And I think that's very important. Yeah.
So do you think your shareholders help you being motivated all the time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, seriously, it's always been very positive we always everyone gets updated on our WhatsApp groups. And in fact, most of our shareholders are here on different times of the week. So they're already here, even though they're not very operationally involved, like some of them, but they are here so much in terms of support, in terms of just bringing their good vibes here, introducing their friends, hanging out with us. Couldn't have asked for a better group.
And do you think, we're not saying that it's gonna happen, but sometimes partnership, among friends, you don't want to break the relationship. Do you have that fear before you start on this?
No, I think that's always a worry. I don't think anyone can touch their heart, honestly, to say that will never happen. There's always a possibility.
Yeah.
But I think then knowing that as people, as friends, we also show each other, I think it's up to us to show everyone else also as much respect and leeway and understanding as we can, and support as well, as friends, to carry on. And I think that's the hallmark of any good friendship, regardless of whether you're in a business partnership or not. And those are the sensibilities that I've seen from the entire group that we bring together. And, so far it's working.
And is this the first time you created a business with your friends, or previously you have done so?
Well, I would say this is the first time I've started from the get-go with friends. I've had the privilege of starting a media agency about just a little bit more than a decade ago, about 10 years ago. And I started it myself as a one-man show. But since then, a couple of friends have come on board. And, well, we are all still together. And it's been a fun ride as well.
What made you decide that you want to have partners? Sometimes, you just want everything to yourself.
I think it's about understanding
that you can't do it alone.
That you can't do it alone. And also understanding that you don't know everything. It took me a while to push away my ego, but this is a couple of years ago, to know that, the truth is, I don't know everything. And the truth is, there are a lot of things that I don't know. There are a lot of things that you don't see as a customer. There are a lot of invisible things that happen in the background. in order to curate or even create an experience. So, like I mentioned, our shareholders, they all have very different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And they bring in their own different kind of expertise. Some of them are very good in, say, customer service training and development. Some are really good at the legal aspect of things. So all of these things help to actually develop the different layers of a business. Because it's not just about, say, F&B. It's not just about making food or delivering drinks.
Yeah.
You need to look at licenses. You need to look at operations. You need to know how to store food. You need to know how to make sure things don't die. Getting in touch, your vendor management, your supplier management. There's so many things that go on in the background that we just need to, have enough people with the right kind of expertise to help you along.
And so I believe Mismatch will be a great place for people to drink. And since you're always here for your drink nights, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of like some crazy drink requests in this one so far?
Wow, crazy drink requests. I wouldn't really say super crazy, but you do have those people that, especially when you celebrate a birthday,
Okay.
and then they'll go, "Oh, I want to kill my friend." And it's kind of ironic, it's a birthday and you kill them now. So it's like you don't want them to see the next birthday. But yeah, so you do have those kind of things, and we do like so depending on who the bartender is on the shift. So we got some of them who are experienced, and yeah, you can do the a flaming tower or a graveyard or things like that. And then sometimes somebody will just come in and say, "No, just mix everything together."
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Have anyone ever fainted or?
no, not yet,
Oh,
not
okay.
yet, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. We
What
also-
will happen if someone fainted in this one?
Look, I think it's normal. We also always tell people also, it's like, drink responsibly. And if you see like a person is really high or drunk, of course we will advise the friends like, don't, your friend cannot take it really. Let's chill right now. And then, that's when give a glass of warm water or ice, depending on what, and let them chill. But so far, I would say things have been fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your personal favorite drink in this one?
Okay. So one of the things that we have on tap, which I think is quite unique, is called the Taro High. So we do a highball, and the Taro High is basically a vodka highball, and it's straight from the draft. It's a tap, and it's very fresh. It's one of those things that you can take on a hot day, and it's like super refreshing. And what you can also do is just put in some syrup, and I remember days when people used to have black vodka ribena and things like that. So it can also do that. So you can put blackcurrant syrup or peach syrup in there, give a little different flavor. It's one of those things that is quite popular here, and it tastes very light, but it's not very light.
And how much is it if someone wants to purchase it?
Oh, it's about $13, but it's a big glass. Yeah,
Oh my gosh, so affordable.
Yeah.
We should go for a drink.
you should. Yeah.
So, if a couple ever can come to you for relationship advice over drinks, what would you say to them?
Firstly, I would say that I'm definitely the wrong person to ask for relationship advice. Okay, so I've been married for a while now, but I also believe that because of that, every couple is unique. Every couple is has their own challenges. We all believe that we're all unique individuals, and I think it's more than a belief. I think that's reality, and therefore, everything that you face, everything that I face in my life on a daily basis is going to be so different. And therefore, all the challenges are very different. The main thing is communication, right? You just need to communicate and try to understand each other. That's the most important thing. Yeah, I would say that. But then again, I would say a pub is a great place to meet people.
Did you meet your wife in the bar?
I did not meet my wife in a bar, but I would say that we did connect in places like this where, where we got to understand each other better, understand each other more. And I think that's where also, for me, is if you find a partner and if you want a long-term relationship, there should be enough to make you a bit different. Each of you will have your own differences, but also enough that intersect to go and say, yeah, we like this. And also that, we shouldn't quite impose our own things onto others too much. We tend to do that. People are people.
Yeah.
People will say, I prefer this. This is my preference.
Yes, yes.
But then, it comes an understanding.
Mm.
Yeah. But really, I mean, the truth is, I know a lot of people actually that have met their better halves or their other halves at a bar.
Yeah.
And it's because they've had time to chat and all that. They realize, hey, I can have fun with this person. And then it becomes a bit more. And next
Yeah.
thing you know, they've tied a knot.
Yeah. I heard from my friend when she went to the club, she saw a guy dancing, but the dance was not vibing. So he's like, that's where they can know whether that person is actually vibing with you or not. But I think like in a bar, it's more relaxed as well. It's like you're drinking, you're having fun. So the conversations are more open.
It is. I think that's the main part. So communication, right? So conversations. I think it's a bit more conducive to having an actual conversation. And just like how I've made friends over here, we've had people that had, made their boyfriend or girlfriend or let's take away all the labels or their partners over here. And we have quite a few interesting stories like that. Yeah.
And if there's one biggest advice that you would give to any new business owners, what would it?
Plan and take your time.
Plan and take your time.
Yeah, I would say really the planning is important. You don't need to plan to perfection. Sometimes you just need to let things run. But time and letting things run their course as well is just as important. They need to go together. And just because it doesn't work immediately doesn't mean it's not going to work at all. And you need to understand what you want from it and what your customers want from your vision. So your vision needs to tie up to a customer's want as well. But really, I think time is important. And so you need to plan to have and give time. Because without time, it's hard to grow.
Thank you, Zed, for today.
No worries.
And we're very thankful for the opportunity given. We get to know how Mismatch was found, how it was built, and also the struggles, the challenges, the success. And we'll definitely have more entrepreneurs to talk about more of their business. But we thank Zed today, and we'll hope to see him more in the next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.